what do you guys think the likelihood is of this video containing something so blatantly scientifically irresponsible that I'm going to advocate for it to be taken off the internet afterwards? What do you think the odds are? I don't know. I mean, from Trump, you know, we got the like injecting bleach directly into your veins to cure the. But with this, like, I don't know. I'm interested. We haven't done spirit science in fuck me ages. What's going on, my dude? Hello, extra credits voice guy.
Potential to be seen as many different. Coronavirus has the potential to be seen as many different things. Something to fear, a quarantine enforcer, and even a deadly killer. And this is the reality we're collectively experiencing. And as the designers and creators of our collective—
This is already an aggressively pretentious opening, dude. Like, a chair can be seen as many things. An object? Mass? Occupying physical space? A thing to sit on? Like, okay. Usually when we say represents many things, we're talking about different lens of analyses and not just using different adjectives to describe it, but okay.
Reality. We must accept that we cannot always control the circumstances that befall us, but we can control how we respond to them.
Okay.
If we were to take a look at COVID-19 from a higher perspective, we might just see a very interesting picture come to form. The coronavirus pandemic is potentially a wake-up call, a huge lesson for us, and even an opportunity for massive change. While the long-term results of the coronavirus pandemic are still yet to be seen, there's no question that it's transforming life on Earth as we know it by bringing to the surface so many conversations that we need to have.
This is a very... this reminds me of how a cult leader would describe like a ritual where some of their members are sacrificed to God. You know what I mean? Like, we're talking about something unquestionably horrific, but the language that is being used to describe it is so washed. It's so like, funnily enough, like so bleached of any like evocation. It's a little strange.
Conversations such as wet markets, treatment of life, quarantines, health, hygiene, and collective responsibility. But the thing is, absolutely none of these conversations are the beginning nor the end of the dialogue. They are all the results and responses to the experience of this pandemic. None of these actually address the higher understanding of the whole thing.
Okay. We've buried the lead a little bit here. I cannot wait to learn about the hidden truth. I'm ready for the hidden truth.
Gain a great deal of insight if we dig into the name itself. Coronavirus. Corona directly translates to crown from the Latin. By the nature of the name itself, what we are dealing with here is a crown virus, which it was named for after its characteristic crown-like protein spikes. The significance of the name crown here relates distinctly with two important areas of focus.
Oh no, we're doing it. We're doing fucking spirit numerology. Oh God.
The spiritual crown and the physical crown, both of which relate with the topmost and zenith aspects of a system. We also see the word corona relating with a certain part of the sun, and we'll look at this soon. In these systems, the word crown generally relates to the organizing leadership of the higher order.
Yeah, this is spirit etymology. This sun chakra. Dude, wait, guys, do you want to know a secret? Do you want to know why scientists name shit the way they name shit? Scientists have literally no imagination, so they'll just like look at something and then like find a word. Like, oh, this thing's pointy, like kind of like a crown pointy. Yeah, okay, pointy, coronavirus. All right, cool, we done it. Banked it. Let's get lunch. Like naming conventions in the scientific community, like their only responsibility is to make sure it's A, pronounceable, and B, isn't already a taken word. And yeah, name it in Latin, I guess. But like, that's it. That's their responsibility.
In the physical systems, crown was the name for the headdress that was a powerful symbol of authority. And the name symbolically was then essentially given to those in power, like the king or the queen. And while it's not really used by democratic systems today, the word crown essentially still relates with the topmost of a social system. Now, in spiritual systems, we see the word crown being used to describe the Godhead. In both the chakras and the tree of life, the topmost sphere is called the crown. These systems describe that this important point on the human body the top of the head.
Vosh, you better debunk this shit. What the fuck do you want me to say? What am I supposed to say? The Godhead. Holy shit, dude. What? Like scientists named it coronavirus to relate to some spiritual epiphanous relationship between the coronavirus and the crown.
Head is the place through which we connect with a higher understanding, which allows us to develop greater wisdom and the inner knowing that all things are connected.
Doesn't this guy literally run a cult? I looked him up after I did the last spirit sign video, and I'm pretty sure this guy literally has like a cult.
No matter how separate and isolated things may appear. This is especially interesting given that isolation becomes one of our most valuable tools in combating the spread of the virus. The ancient wisdom describes that when the crown is blocked,
the ancient wisdom,
or we are unable to connect with the higher expression of our interconnected nature, we create a reality of duality consciousness and live our lives as if everything is separate. And this is one hidden lesson that we find with—
Wait. If your crown chakra is closed off, you live as though everything is separate. So people and animals aren't the same. But if you have the crown chakra, then we are all the same. This is some like Avatar The Last Airbender like swamp tree shit. We're all connected. Ancient wisdom. Say you watched Avatar, my dude. I read this is that Netflix adaptation. I read the book.
COVID-19. What we believe to be true today is that the virus itself—
It was fine when it happened in Avatar The Last Airbender because that was literally an animation in a fictional universe where the spirit shit is real, unlike this universe where it's not, but okay.
Probably began within wet markets in Wuhan. Now there are some theories suggesting alternatives to this, but for now, as this is the leading theory, let's continue with this idea. These are filthy environments for selling both live and dead animals. And these environments are places that bacteria and viruses can easily mutate and spread. It should come as no surprise when you keep animals jammed into tight cages, experiencing terrible suffering while other animal carcasses lay strewn about everywhere. It's only logical that this becomes a breeding ground for bacteria and diseases to jump about from host to host. And
I mean, okay. Sure.
Eventually mutate its way into the very people who frequent these environments. Take a moment to consider just how much fear and anxiety is being created by those animals in the wet markets. It's no surprise that something negative has come out of it.
No. There is no relationship between how bad the animals feel and the fucking bacteria that develops and transfers from body to body. What? Oh God, absolutely he would believe that. The negative energy coalescing around the wet markets, all the spiritual discord, it was only a matter of time before it coalesced into a viral form. Like, okay.
If we really knew that we were interconnected with all of life, we would most certainly treat these animals with significantly greater respect and create environments that would be clean and healthy for everyone and everything.
Oh no. Oh no! I understand what's being said. Coronavirus is a punishment sent to us by the spiritual order of the universe to remind us to be nice to animals and shit. And that it only could have arisen from our mistreatment of animals, and therefore that's why it's called the coronavirus, because it corresponds to the crown chakra, where we must open up. We are the virus, people. Oh, we're gonna get some eco-fascism in here, aren't we? I'm ready.
Further, another lesson that comes from this shift to unity consciousness is the knowing that it's not exclusive to Wuhan, and it's not appropriate to point the finger at anyone but ourselves. In today's—
Okay, I mean, we're not going like racist with it, I guess. That's cool.
World, chickens, cows, pigs, fish, and basically every kind of animal that we actively use for mass livestock are treated horribly with incredibly poor living conditions. We just published a movie called Healing Your Body with Food, and I especially recommend watching it if you want to know the truth about where your food comes from.
Okay. This is so frustrating. I fucking hate vegans, dude. God damn it. I despise vegans so fucking much. Actually, the coronavirus is a message to us from the universe to live in harmony with the animals. Like, Jesus Christ, it frustrates me so fucking much. No, Aubrey, I don't hate all vegans. Just like fuck, this is so fucking like it. Oh shit! Thank you. It's such a. It's just such an irrelevant injunction. Like, hey guys, for example, vegans don't believe that? No, I know not all vegans believe that. Okay, shut up. Yeah, I get it. Okay, you're all good vegans. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Okay, sure. Yeah, not all vegans. Fuck off. Okay, listen, but like, it's mostly like hippie vegans. But, God, fuck. Oh, man. It's like, the funniest thing is the animal, the livestock we slaughter more than any other is chickens. We kill like fucking billions of chickens every year. It's insane. Like it's unbelievable how many chickens are tortured and slaughtered every single year. The psychic energy and like surrounding that must be unbearable. And yet chickens had nothing to do with this. Like I don't like this relationship between like suffering and virology. Like it bothers me a lot. It's so it's spirit science, I know, but it's so unscientific. Like there are conditions from which stuff like the coronavirus can arise without the mistreatment of animals. It's unlikely, but then again, this was unlikely. Wet markets have been around for ages, and this is the coronavirus here now in 2019. So to intrinsically tie the two together is to implicitly suggest that A, we deserve the coronavirus, and B, if we stopped mistreating animals, we would no longer get any plagues, neither of which are true.
This conversation then fractals into nearly every aspect of our lives. How do we treat ourselves? How do we treat each other? How do we treat the environment? We are now seeing reports that global smog levels are at a collective all-time low.
There are studies that show COVID-19 has no origin in wet markets. Yeah, I don't like. I'm sure it's once the dust settles, I'm sure we're going to know more. But like it was probably had something to do with like the animal agriculture industry. That probably seems pretty likely to me.
Nature is actually healing itself for every day that humans stay inside, demonstrating both the living vibrance and the power of nature, and how we actively kill nature through the systems and technologies that we use to live our lives.
We are the virus. Earth is healing.
Recently, there was even an article that the canals of Venice are not only running clear water, but also have fish swimming through them for the first time in 60 years. Think about this for a moment. Our collective pandemic, which has caused us into isolation, has allowed for nature to begin to thrive.
Okay. Who here has heard of the term eco-fascism but doesn't actually know what it means and just vaguely knows it's a bad thing? Because it's a bad term and it doesn't make much sense. It's not very contextually understandable. Eco-fascism is when environmentalists or people who have an environmental interest start to either outwardly suggest or kind of implicitly suggest that population control or other forms of unhumanitarian action are the solution to the Earth's problems. So an eco-fascist would say something along the lines of, hey, African countries, their population sure is exploding at the moment, huh? They sure are going to need a lot of fossil fuels once they've really come up and industrialized. Do you really think the Earth can bear that burden? Maybe we need to take them down a few pegs. Or something along the lines of, man, 8 billion people on this planet. China has so many people. Do we really need that many? I feel like we could do a lot if we could really curtail like the growth of the Southeast Asian or like African population centers, you know? This is like the language of eco-fascism. And sometimes eco-fascists are not actually that bad of people, but the rhetoric that they push basically aligns with those interests. So, for example, if you're saying, the people were the virus, the Earth is healing. Well, if you want to heal the Earth and people are the virus, what do you do to the people? Like, follow that analogy through just a little bit further. Let's just take that idea and push it just a little bit farther. And now let's take that idea and put it in the hands of a voting population that has a nuclear arsenal. But he hasn't said people are the virus. He's literally saying that by us being plagued and in quarantine, the earth is healing. I mean, the parallels are pretty similar. Now, do I think that this guy right here, this fucking spirit science dude, would personally want to, like, genocide the developing world? No, not at all. I don't believe that in the slightest. But I do think that there is a dangerous slope that we can sort of descend down into if we engage in rhetoric like this. This is one of the reasons why the people who are most active in pushing this population control, like we're going to be overpopulated nonsense, tend to be white nationalists. Have you noticed that? Have you watched any stuff from Black Pigeon Speaks lately or other similar content creators? Have you noticed that people of those political predispositions have a tendency to complain about overpopulation a lot? I don't know if it's because they actually care about the environment, but those conclusions sure do lead to a lot of people hand-wringing over whether or not we really need that many black and brown people. Like, that's where it always leads. Nobody would ever make the statement, the earth is healing, humanity was the virus, and then people start seriously considering curtailing the European or American population. It's always directed against the third world. And it's always, that language is always invoked by people with ulterior motives or people too stupid to realize that their language could be used by people with ulterior motives.
Day by day. That's kind of remarkable. But what's to stop us from going right back to our old ways the moment the pandemic ends?
I don't know. Guess we'll have to do a little bit of culling.
We really have to take this seriously, because if we only focus on ourselves and our survival during this pandemic, and not everything else, like the effects of our civilization on the world, well, I'm concerned that there will only be more suffering to come until we learn these lessons. Now, as mentioned earlier, we also see that corona not only translates to crown, but is also the name for a particular aspect of the sun. Specifically, the sun's corona is an aura of plasma that surrounds the sun and other stars and extends millions of kilometers into outer space and is most easily seen during a total solar eclipse.
Okay, so what does this have to do with, like, the spirits?
Now, speaking of the sun is essentially the crown of our solar system. In a long, almost forgotten past, the sun was seen as the essential soul, the visible God in the heavens, and a demonstration of the power.
One thing that really bugs me about these videos is that the deliberate vagueness of the language. Like, okay, are you ready for my conspiracy theory? Okay, the person who does these videos runs their own cult, and the reason why they don't specifically name the previous civilizations that have worshipped the sun as a god, which I could name. Didn't the Aztecs do that? I'm pretty sure, like, 5 minutes of research, I could find, like, civilizations that have worshipped the sun as a god, you know? The reason why he just says stuff like ancient knowledge and ancient civilizations rather than specifically naming those civilizations is because he's trying to deliberately make all of these old ideas as generic and palatable as possible so he can bundle them into his own cult-like philosophy and therefore make it easier for people to fragment into their own preferences as to which, like, particular brand of dipshittery they want to believe in by abstracting it and then, like, bundling it together as some sort of like a plurality, like a paleo unified spiritualism. He can bundle it as his own, like, a cult philosophy a lot easier. That's my hip conspiracy theory. Okay.
Power of the supreme oneness. You might even be familiar that long ago the sun was given the name Sol. Essentially,
see, long ago, like, you could just Google, like, what? Latin. It's just Latin. Just be like Latin. The Latin name for the sun is Sol. Why does he always have to, like, long ago in a distant land? Like, no. Just like, again, the abstraction is deliberate. It's not just him being lazy.
Essentially meaning sun personified. Regarding the sun's corona, we see that it is at the outer edge of the sun itself.
Yeah.
Just like how the tree of life describes that the crown, called Keter, resides at the outermost edge, containing all of the other spheres within it.
Wow, it's almost like a crown is historically something that is placed on top of other things. So they named the band of radiation around the sun the corona because that just sort of fits like in the relative position of that with the sun. And they named the coronavirus corona because it had little pointy things coming out of it, which kind of look like a crown. And there's no other relationship whatsoever apart from there being like thin, like visual or conceptual, identifying features that lead people or scientists to name it the way they do. Oh, wow. It's almost like these are completely superficial concepts that are being unified only because scientists sometimes name things frivolously or a little bit abstractly, and you're trying to read a fuck ton of meaning into it to push like a basically eco-fascist agenda.
So too as with us, the crown chakra relates with the farthest point on our auric field.
Wow, why do you think the crown chakra is called the crown chakra? Could it be because it sits on the exact part of your head where the crown is? And because the crown chakra is considered to be like a really important chakra and the crown is a very important hat? They just share a name, possibly? And how the corona of the sun just sits on top of the outermost layer of the sun, possibly? Maybe? Yeah, this isn't the only coronavirus. Yeah, decupine. There are like multiple coronaviruses. It's a diverse group name of viruses that are named for their shape. Like scientists didn't invent it for this one.
The place from which our own personal energy interacts with the energy of the rest of the cosmos. So the fact that the sun has a corona, matching the name with this virus, might extend our imaginations to conceive of a higher spiritual lesson here.
A very long time ago, an ancient people made the word core. You might think, a core, isn't that what's at the center of my being? Yes, but it is also what some experts refer to the muscle group known as the abdominal region as. The core relates to the abdominal region because it is through the gyrations of the core muscles you can truly feel the burn at the core of your being. You know what else has a core? All suns and planets. Much in the same way that humanity uses the muscular core to enact the will of the internal core, so too does the core of our planet do the thing that it does. It pertains deep spiritual significance. Core means heart, idiot. The heart core beating at the center of the humanity, much in the same way that the core heart beats at the center of the planet. Ancient spiritual people describe the heart as an organ that exists inside of your body. The heart, some might say, is necessary for survival. Scientists are undecided, but we know the truth. The core of the heart of the soul of the sun of the core is what beats inside of you, and it beats inside planets too. You know what that means? Spiritually, we are all planets, and planets are all people. The core that lives inside of us is reified in the relationship between the planet which we stride upon and the planet inside of ourselves. Thank you. I'll take my TED Talk now. That could have been a video. Like, give me a graphics team. Give me an animator or two, okay? Give me an animator or two. Give me like 5 minutes to write out a script.
Perhaps in some way, we can begin to see ourselves as more interconnected with the higher order of the cosmos. It seems as though the lesson here is that COVID-19 is a result of our own lack of harmony. So let's talk about
this is such bullshit, dude. God, you could have a perfectly harmonized vegan planet and you could still have plagues and pandemics that arise from the interactions between different animal species. Jesus Christ. God, I love how this is meant to be like the moral punitiveness of this. Like, oh, you don't like the entire planet being kept under quarantine as hundreds of thousands of people die? Oh, damn, you shouldn't have lived a wanton life of cruelty and greed, fuckhead. Jesus Christ.
a bit about this from a more practical level for all of us. There is so much fear around this virus, and I get it.
This is just an incredibly offensive appropriation of Eastern spirituality and philosophy. Well, yeah, but they're not just appropriating from the East; they're appropriating from everywhere. Like this is every idea jammed together into like a cult. Like, wait. Wasn't there something in here? Oh my god. Jesus Christ. I remember like reading something up on like this being on like the Jordan guy, like the person who does the channel, like actually leads it, actually making an active effort to like maintain a cult. Was it in the No, it wasn't in the Rational Wiki article. Whatever, history will vindicate me.
The possibility of imminent death can be scary. However, the fear itself is very quick to block us from recognizing that there's so much we can do about this just on our own.
What the fuck can an average person do about the pandemic? Kindly explain to me. What? The fear is keeping people from realizing there's so much they can do on their own. What?
I think it might be valuable to see that, just like COVID-19, our fear itself is also a virus, and one that spreads even faster than coronavirus.
What can we do? What can we do? The COVID-19 is already out in the world. There are already millions of people infected. What can an average person do?
What's worse, they go hand in hand. When we are afraid, steeped in anxiety and panic, our bodies release cortisol, the stress hormone. Too much cortisol, and it rapidly breaks down vitamin C, which lowers our immune systems. In addition to being more at risk from coronavirus, this also can lead to rapid weight changes, skin that bruises easily, muscle weakness, diabetes, and many other health problems.
Wow, no way. Stress hurts the body. Just don't be stressed, lol. Global pandemic, lol. Can't pay your bills or rent, lol. Federal aid coming out too slow, lol. Just don't stress, bro. Oh, thank you. Lol. Hey, your grandparents get developing a weird cough, lol. Nothing to worry about, lol. Went outside and somebody coughed on you, lol. Know that you can't afford any medical treatment for a fucking coronavirus. You get it, lol. Just don't be stressed, bro. Just fucking sit in your house and meditate on your relationship to the rest of the universe.
All of this just from living in panic and fear. If we can recognize this quickly, COVID-19 provides all of us with...
Can you imagine like living with this cunt? Like, can you imagine like this guy being like in your apartment block and you like see each other in the laundry unit and you're keeping 6 feet away. So you meet at the laundry unit and you're on one side and this guy keeps like coming up next to you, like walking like right next to you, like ignoring the 6 feet thing. And you're like, hey, could you like back off a little bit? I'm sorry, I'm just trying to be careful. And they're like, hey, don't you know? Fear is a choice and fear makes you weaker. Don't you realize this is an opportunity for us to spiritually reflect on the, like, fuck me, dude. Oh. I have no idea who that person was. Anyway, yeah, I fucking despise this fucking guy.
With a great opportunity. A time for us to use this period of isolation.
Look, he's violating the 6-foot rule now.
As a point of introspection, of self-discovery, of learning and evolving, so that when the virus is gone, we can emerge from our homes as stronger, wiser, and more capable than ever before.
I love this because there's a very valid idea like behind, hey, maybe we should use this time to reflect on the systems in which we live and emerge with a bit greater degree of clarity, you know? Like, that would be pretty cool. But instead of, like, actually saying anything, it's all meaningless platitudes. It's all meaningless horseshit. Holy fuck.
Perhaps we can
like no policy suggestions. This dipshit hasn't even argued like maybe we should end factory farming. Like very deliberately not saying anything so everyone can just cross their legs, do the little fucking yoga gesture with their hands, and then just go just take in all the stupid woo, you know?
Even collectively learn some big lessons. No more mistreatment of animals. Let's take action about these smog levels. Let's take better care of our world. As mentioned, this is a great opportunity, but only if we decide to view it as one. The collective pain and struggle we are facing can be a great motivator for us all. And I know that for many, it already is. But if the majority of people still do nothing, if we all just sit inside in our fear and wait for the virus to disappear, we miss out on the opportunity to ride this wave of healing and regeneration.
What the fuck do you mean if we just sit inside and be fearful? What should we do? What the fuck should we just... What? Hey, you could just sit inside and be afraid. Yeah, we can. What else? What else? Just sit inside and be chill? Are you just suggesting people like be cool? A lot of people can barely make rent. A lot of people see their family members and friends dying. Like, just be chill?
That the planet is doing while we're all staying inside. So for now, I want to share a few things to support you in creating a healthy immune system. It should be known that a healthy immune system won't stop you from getting the virus. So of course, wash your hands and stay inside.
Wow, thanks.
However, there are ways to keep your immune system functioning optimally, which can help to keep you healthy and give you a sense of control in an uncertain time. And just to be clear,
Stretch your chakras at least 6 times a day.
the intention of this list is to provide support and is not intended to be given as medical advice.
Oh, I know. No, don't worry. We all know you don't want to be held liable for any of the shit you say. Hey guys, just to clarify, I'm just providing some neat suggestions. You know, I'm just memeing. You know, don't take it seriously. This is a medical advice. Okay, let's not get too litigious over here.
Firstly, meditation, or simply practice taking some time to also help you make better choices.
Kill me.
Studies have suggested that foods, drinking lemon water, or eating
Kill me.
energizes your body, gets your blood flowing, and creates lasting benefits in an
Kill me.
that you can do.
Oh, hey,
Finally,
it's me.
if you're able to, exercise. Physical
I ain't sure. Yeah, do it.
Give it a try.
So there's the advice. This is how you ride out the pandemic, okay? Pretend that coronavirus has some sort of spiritual significance and is the universe's punishment for our behavior. Fucking just chill, like meditate, exercise indoors, and don't be stressed, okay? There you go. Can you show us the cult? I don't know. I read something about it. I don't care at all enough about this.